Right, so I'm going to be sharing my screen, and first of all, before we go into sharing screen, I want to set up I want to show us how you can set up your connection. You can set up your connection for working with um, Compass, so to say, on your VS Code. So you can have an extension where instead of you needing to work with Compass directly, like creating a Compass app, you'll be able to see your information directly. So here, basically what I'll just do here is, let me just share my whole screen, and when I'm done with this, I'll come back to that. All right, so here we are, and this is my MongoDB setting. So I want to uh, connect to VS Code. So let me just open up VS Code instance. So here in VS Code, what we will be looking at, sorry. Okay, so here in VS Code, you can go to the extensions. I already have it installed, as you can see here, but I'll just show you. So you can go to the extensions in VS Code, and what you can do is you can type MongoDB. Okay, so MongoDB, and you will see different examples. Okay, so here, what you'll be looking for is MongoDB for VS Code. That's what you're going to be looking for, MongoDB.VS Code, and then you click the install. So I already have it installed on my system. So you click install, and once you have it installed, the next is you click on this. So as you click on this, you're going to see these options here. So you have connection, and you have here playground. And probably in our next class, we use the playground, but for today, we just use the connections. So here, you can add the connection. So if you click on add connection, it shows you here, connect with, oh, this is really disturbing me. Okay, connect with connection string here, and then you have open form. So we're going to be using connect string. And if you click on connect string, you will see here at the top, it's asking for a MongoDB URL, and the format is more of the format you we get from the Compass. So what you would have put into Compass is what you put in here. So let me go over, and from here, I'm going to click on connect using MongoDB Compass. And yes, I have a compass, and I'm going to copy this as is. And yeah, I'm going to copy this as is. And yeah, so here I'm going to put this database in here. And okay, so let me just do this. Let's just do this. After this class, I should probably delete this database because it's so important. Okay, so here, all right. So you see the connection sign, and yes, you see it's connected. Okay, so this is connected, and we are not creating any playground now. I just want to see what is here. So from here, you can go over to see, from here, you can go over to see things that you want. So here, we are going to be looking into the inventory app. And the inventory app here, from here, I can see the documents that are available. So each one of them is going to show me the items. So these are the items that are available. So this is just the same way you can view things in MongoDB Compass. So if you want to view, you can view all of them together. So this is just like you being able to see it directly from your VS Code. And you can also work on, for example, if you want to reach out to them, you can drop a collection, and whatever it is you do here, as long as your network is connected, it's going to also affect the cloud Mongo or the local Mongo, whichever one it is you have the database hosted on. So that's that. This makes life pretty much very easy for you if you want to try that. And let's go into the business of today. So what exactly do we want to do today? So like I said in our last class, I was going to set up some things already before this class so that we could focus on the business. So I'll just show you what I already have as set up. So this here is coming from our last class. We looked at, having controller, we don't have anything here for the helpers middleware. We have a model, and this model here has the item, okay, that we want to create. And the item here, as you can see, name, description, category, price, number in stock, and then the date, which is default set to date now. And it's been exported. And from the controller, we are importing that model from the controller. We also have validations, as we saw in our last class. We used Joy. We used Joy, which is a package that we installed. So we used Joy to create a validation, and the validation here is checking that whatever it is passed in should be a string. It should have a minimum length of 2. It should have a maximum length of 5, and it should be required. It must be provided for it to pass. And if it doesn't, if it's not provided, then it's going to require it. And as we saw here in our model, we don't have a default. We don't have a description. So here in the description, we set the default to no description here. So if we omit providing the description in the request body, it's going to use that default. So that's why we don't have it here in the Joy schema. And we have the method to validate it. So going back to controller, what we did in our last class is we started first of all by requiring the validations and checking. So we received the request body, what we wanted to create, and we checked if there's an error. And if there's an error, return the error. So the error is gone. And then if there's no error, we should go ahead and create the item. Now, before we created the item, we wanted to first check the database, which is using the item model, to check if the item existed based on the name. So today we might have to modify this if we want to try some things out. So let's just have that heads up. So we are first checking if the name does exist. And if it does exist, then we get that particular item. So instead of us creating a new item, all we did was we increased the number in stock by the number that was coming in. That's what we did as a modification in our last class. So the number in stock was updated instead of creating a new item. However, if there was no new item, then we wanted to create one using what came in from the body. So we basically spread that information coming there. We use the spread operator to spread it around and as an object. So we did save, and then we returned the saved item. So basically that's what we did in our last class. So as we've seen in previous classes, we have a method to get about 2 weeks ago. So we did 2 weeks ago, probably Tuesday of last week. So we saw a method in which we could find all items. So this is not anything new. And if the item length is 0, okay, the challenge is you cannot use null. You cannot. We're looking for, it's going to always return an array. So for in this case, except we're using the find one method, it's always going to return an array, and the array will not, such. So that's why we have to use items of length here. And if they are known, we'll do that. Then, as we've seen, using the ID. So today we're going to look for how to filter, and probably after that we could look at update. But this is basically just a simple thing, okay? So update and delete are basically just simple. But today what we want to look at is how to filter. So this is going to be where we're going to do our filter work. And let me just grab, for a start, let me just grab this for a start and modify this to suit what we want to do today. So here is a method called filter. And let me check that I have it set up in the routes. Okay, yeah, so I already have it set up in the routes, and I am setting it to, I'm setting it to track filter. Okay, so /filter, and in index.js, I have added the API /item so that I can just differentiate this from the /items today. So whether you leave it like this or like this, both of them work, so that's no problem. All right, so here, so currently I will start by showing you what this gives or what this brings out, and then from there we'll start using the method. So today the main method we're going to look at is let's say using filter method. So okay, so using I wanted to just select that only. Okay, so I'll call this using filter methods. Okay, using let me just call this sort. What else? Sort, filter, and sort, filter, and query. So I'll just call it sort, filter, query, and all the methods we do today. So this basically, as we see here, should return all the items. So going over to this. All right, so going over to this, if I was to go to this route filter and do this, it should return all the items. So here we have about how many items here? I can't tell. I can't tell. Let me do this in the browser. What is this? Okay. So on my browser, I have a package. The package is called, it's an extension. Okay, so the extension helps me in parsing the information so it looks like this. Because if you do it in another browser, it's going to look like this, like a mess. Okay, so I have an extension. I can't remember the name, but it's a parser. Maybe when I remember, I'll just drop it for you guys in Slack. All right, so here I can easily tell what I'm looking for. Okay, so I have 8 items here. All right, so I have 8 items here, and here I have 8 items. So basically, I want to do the same thing over and over again here. So probably we'll just use the browser for today, since we're just dealing with get method. So what do I want to do? I want to establish query parameters. So as we will see in Mongoose, if you go to Mongoose, you have some queries, and your queries here could be for any of these different methods. You have delete many, delete one, find by ID, find by ID and delete, find by ID and remove, find by ID and update. And these are like different query methods. But here you don't want to just like have the query methods. You want to use some parameters in querying. So let's start first of all by saying, let's start by sorting. So if we want to sort, okay, so if we want to sort, excuse me, please. All right. All right, so if you want to sort like a parameter now, for example, you want to sort something, what you're going to do is you're going to be passing what you want to sort or what you want to query by. Let's just call it query now. So let's say const query. Now you're going to call this query. You can pass it directly here. You don't need to call it a query, but you can pass it directly here. But here, I just want to call this query. Okay, so we'll just call this query conditions or query condition or condition. Condition. Still choosy. All right, so you can do this here, and as an object, you have several ways that you can do that here. Okay, so this is one way to do that. Now, another thing that I think we should start with sorting. So let's start with sorting first. Let me do this here. Let me remove this and let me do sort first. So let's first of all check the way things are coming to us, and let's check the way things are coming to us so you can be able to see the difference. Let me see. All right. Okay. All right. Great. All right. Great. So I hope you should be able to see my screen. So both of them. All right. So here I'll do that here. So how are things coming in? And here this is 1932. This is 1723, and both of them are on the same day. They're the same day. This one's 22, this one's 26, 26, 26, 26. So basically, it's sorted. Currently, it's being sorted in order in which it was created from the first item created to the last item created. So that's how it's currently sorted. So this ORM at the bottom will be the last item that was created. All right, so if we want to change how things are sorted, we can use a method that is called a sort method. Okay, so we can use a sort method. So I have here something that's more or less like a cheat sheet, which you can use. So probably after the class, I'll share the cheat sheet with you, so it makes life easy for you. So here, you can decide to use the sort method. So for example, let's say you want to sort something, and let me put this in comments. Okay, all right, let me put this in comment now. Now you can sort something, for example, by using the dot sort, and then you can pick what you want um, as the basis for what is sorted. So here we have, for example, let's say price. We want to sort based on price. So we can pick the price and then we sort the price from the least to greatest. So let's say, let's take price, and all we will then need to do is use one, okay, price one. And if we do this, it's going to sort it according to price. So let's see once this is done. All right, once this is done, let's run this again and let's see the difference now. Okay, so if you look at this now, you see here I have 20,000, here I have 50, here I have 80, here I have 80 as well. Also, we have 130, 200, 350, and 450. And now this has been sorted according to price. Now you could also have it negative. So when you use the sort method, one, which is positive one, is for it to be sorted from least to the greatest, and the negative one is for it to be sorted out from the greatest to the least. So let's go over and see the difference again. So here now, sorting now, you see now that the price at the top is the greatest. Okay, so the price at the top here is the greatest. So we see 450, which is a Samsung Z20. I don't know the prices of this thing, so just put any price there. So you can see here now the Samsung Z20 is at top, and then the list here is at the bottom. Now let's look for some other way we can do this too. So here we have, for example, we have mobile gadgets, we have mobile gadgets, we have accessories, accessories. So let's say, for example, you want to have multiple queries, okay? So you want to not only use price as a yardstick, but you want it to be sorted out in terms of, let's say, for example, the category. So you want it to be sorted in terms of the category, and you want the category to start alphabetically. Then the price will be from the greatest to the least. Okay, so that's what this is here now. So we want this to be alphabetically, and then let me just modify this so that whoever wants to try is seeing examples. Okay, so let's use price here. So because name. All right, so if we do this now and we run this now, what it's going to show you now is you will see the category now. The name accessories comes in order before mobile gadgets. So first, you see it sorted in terms of accessories, and it is from the highest price. The highest price in terms of accessories is the Rolex. The next is, the Apple smartwatch, and after that, AirPods, and down to the list before it gets to mobile gadgets, and then you start seeing that here. So that is for sorting. So for sorting, we've been able to see that we can sort, and you can have as many things that you want to sort by. So you can not only use name and age, you could also use so basically in sorting, you have just basically like for example, for a start, you have just these two conditions. This is from least to greatest, this is from greatest to least. So this is ascending and this is descending. So that's for the sorting. All right, so let's look at another. Now we have another parameter we could use, which is called the limits. Okay, so the limits, we will use the limits. So When we say limits, the dot limits method, what it does is it defines the number of items that you want to take. Okay, so it defines the number of items that you want to take. So if we were to tag on the dot limit now, so let me duplicate this and comment this out. So let me comment one out. Let me comment this one out. And let me remove this method here. Okay, so all right, so let's say dot limit. Let me put this below so that this is still available for this. Okay, so we have the dot limit now, for example, now. So this dot limit, you can define here. Now, remember, now that we have turned off this sort, it means that everything is going to be sorted back by the default coming from Mongodb, okay, which is by the order of creation. So now we are using a 2. So even if there are by default 8 items as we saw before, now that we have a limit 2, it's going to just give us only 2 items. All right, so we're running this now. You see here now, it gives us only 2 items. So if you wanted to, for example, check the the first item created, you could use this. If you want to get maybe like, for example, now, let me tag this element, this limit here. Let me tag it here on this. So what I want to do here is, first of all, I want to sort in terms of category from category A now, sort in terms of category, or let's sort in terms of price. Okay, let's sort in terms of one parameter now. So I want to sort now from -1 to negative is in descending order. So in other words, it's starting with the highest. And I want to get the last 2 or the last 3, okay, the 3 highest in terms of the order now. Okay, so I want to get the 3 highest now. So I could do this, and if you see this now, I'm expecting the 450, which here, okay. So this is the 450, this is the 350, and this is the 200. So you can decide to look for the last 3 highest. You can decide to, what this will do is, it will basically just pick out 2 of the items, okay? It will basically just pick out 2 of the items that you want to see. So just pick out 2 of the items, or sorry, 3 here, 3 of the items that you want to see. So any of these parameters, you can tag them along, you can tag you can do multiple chaining, but first of all, you need to know which comes first, okay? You need to know which comes first before you do your multiple chaining. And you can always specify how you want it to appear in either an ascending order or descending order. So that's all up to you. You can also still, change these methods and see that. So the last we're going to look at here for this is, let's look at the filter method. So we look at the filter method and, or let's look at the skip method. There's another method called the skip method. And I think from there, we'll just move into the queries. So we have the skip method. And the skip method is pretty interesting method. Now, what the method does is it skips a set of numbers of documents from the beginning. Okay, so for example, you want to skip the first 4 items when returning a result. Okay, now you can do this for pagination. Okay, you can do this for pagination with the combined limit. So in case you want to do pagination without having to set up like some massive pagination setting, you can do this for pagination and choose how many things you want to come from here. So here you can set a limit, for example, like 10. So you want 10 of anything to show up, and then maybe you want to skip the first item, the next place you multiply it, skip to, like different ways you can try this out depending on your use case. So let's first of all let's sort in terms of price. Okay, so let's sort in terms of price. It's easy to see to see what we're looking for, and let's also so you can see this. So I want to check in terms of price what is coming out first before I include the skip method. So let's see. I'll wait for the database. All right. So let's see what's coming out first. before we move into the method. All right, so coming out first is Oraimo earbuds, and okay, we have Swatch men's watch, and we have Apple smartwatch. These are the first three items. So the next item after the first three is Apple AirPods and a Rolex watch. All right, so don't mind the prices. I don't know. I haven't checked the prices of those things. So let's just add skip method and let's skip the first three items. So skipping the first three items, what do we first of all have as of now? We have for the first three items, Oraimo, Swatch, and Apple. So the next we should be seeing is Apple AirPods. So let's run this. All right, so running this, we see we don't have Oraimo any longer. Okay, so Oraimo is not there anymore. We don't have the Swatch and we don't have the other one. So what we have now is Apple AirPods. So we skip the first three items. And if you are to skip 5, okay, so this will skip this and to run straight to Infinix Note 10. Okay, so let's skip 5 and let's skip 5. So skipping 5, we should have Infinix Note 10 as the first. Okay, so Infinix Note 10 is the first by using skip. Okay, so this helps. All right, so this helps in let me just try to put a comment there. Okay, so this helps in skipping. Okay, so let's say this skips. Let me just put a comment here. Okay, so skips. Okay, so this skips a set of numbers of document from the beginning. Here, this limit should okay. Limit should only return. Okay, so this should only return, or this should only return a set of numbers in the document, and this sort now. Okay, so for sort should basically sort the results of a find by. Okay, so this should basically sort the result of a find by given field. So this should come first before all of this. All right, so yeah. All right, so we've been able to look at these methods essentially. We've been able to look at these methods essentially, and we've seen what the methods can do. And we've also seen that we can chain the methods. We can chain them together. So we're not limited by what we choose. We can actually change the methods. So right now we want to look at filtering. Okay, we want to look at filtering objects. So for us to filter, we would use query. So we're going to be using a query parameter. So at this point, I want to remove the sort. I want to remove the sort here and just leave it as just this. Okay, so I want to move the sort. So let me put this here. So query conditions and here. All right, so yeah, I'll just call this const query. Okay, is equal to, let's leave it as an empty object for now, and let us put the query in here. All right, so like so. All right, so generally, MongoDB has its own additional like ways in which you can query. So apart from just putting in things like categories and these are basically queries. Okay, these are basically query parameters. You can also have other modifiers or other parameters with which you can query an object. So one of them is the equal to. Okay, so one of them is equal to, and this basically is okay. So this basically we have a condition here, which is something like this. Let me put this here. Okay. Okay. So what this will do, all right. So what this will do is it's going to check if something is equal to. Okay. So this one is this is for equality. This is for equality. And here you want to check, for example, you have a name, and then want to check if that name is equal to, and then you specify the field that you are targeting. So let's see the fields we have available. Okay, so here we have let's say iPhone 13. So I want to copy this entire name, iPhone 13, and I wanted to return only where we have iPhone 13. Okay, so I wanted to return only where we have iPhone 13, and like so. Okay, so only where we have iPhone 13. So what this would do is it's going to check for equality. All right, so let's just say check for equality. So it's going to check for equality where we have a name, that's a given field, uh, or what would you call it now, a given key. Check if this key is equal to this. Then that is the query that we are sending here into this. Now, this is not a find one, this is a find. So if there are multiple of such, it's going to do that query to find all of such where they exist. So right now, if you run this here, now this is going to return only one. Okay, so here we have only one, and this is returning this iPhone 13, and we have about 16 in stock. And the reason why we are having this as only one is because here in our method, here in our create method, we didn't allow for us to have multiple instances. Okay, we didn't allow for us to have multiple instances. So let me see how to modify this. Okay, let me see how to modify this. Find parameters. What parameters do we have? Description, not yet. Okay, so we're not listening in the description yet. So what else can we target? So let's turn this off for now. Let's turn this off for now if it exists. Okay, so I'm going to create a new instance of iPhone, and this should end here. All right, so I'm going to so right now I just wanted to create. Okay, I don't want it to look for if it exists. I just wanted to go straight to creating. I don't want it to go straight to creating the item, regardless, so I can have multiple instances. I'm just going to do this at the back and create multiple instances of iPhone 13. Okay, so I need to get that spelling right, iPhone 13. And I want a black version. So I'm going to do a black version for the same price, 350. And let me create one. Okay, and I'm going to do a white version. Just give me a second, I'll be back to you soon. Okay, and let me create a silver or gold. Let me create a gold version. All right, so gold version. So we have multiple of that. All right, so I'm back to you. All right, so if I was to run this now, there will be multiple instances, okay, of iPhone 13. So here we have iPhone 13. So as you see here, you see we have a description, not yet, okay, no description yet, which was the first we created. Now we have a new instance of black, we have white, and we have gold. Okay, so that's how you use the equality condition. Okay, so use the equality condition in being able to check if that is it. So I just turned that off so that I could be able to have multiple instances. Going back here, so we have here the equal, and we are, and mind you, if this is iPhone 1 and you do a search, let me wait for it to run. Okay, now if it's 1, if it's not verbatim, it's not getting it word for word, this is what's going to happen. All right, it's going to fail. So this is my failure saying there are no items. Okay, so that's my failure code. So everything has to match word for word. So that's the equal to. So it's an exact match. All right, so it's an exact match. All right, we have iPhone 13. And remember that it is case sensitive. So I have here iPhone 13, and let me check if it's case sensitive. Let me just be sure before I fully tell you that it is. And as you can see, it is case sensitive. So putting this back. All right, so All right, so like that. So basically, as you can see, you have this as a query parameter. Now, another one we have is NE, which is check for not equal to. Okay, so we have NE. Okay, so it's a dollar sign, and check for not equal to. So check for not equal. What's happened to my spelling today? All right, so check for not equal to. So basically, if we run this here using the NE, this is all that's changing. It is going to look for every other thing where the name is not equal to iPhone 13. So I'm doing this here in the browser because this is just a get method. So here, if you look here, you see Rolex, Swatch, Apple, Samsung, Infinix, Apple AirPods, Oraimo, and all of these are not, the names are not equal to this. So this here is not equal to. And remember, you can always still decide to sort. So here I have all of this coming in 130, 50, 80,000. So you can always chain a method. Okay, so if I want to do the sort method and I want to sort with price, all I just need to do is just for me to include that parameter. So I could still go back and say price, and I want it to be in ascending order from least to greatest, and like so. Okay, let me chill. All right, all good. And here 130, 50, and you see that with this, it sorts it out. Okay, so you can always have like this method chained. All right, so you can always have this method chained. All right, so I just wanted you to see that. So basically what the dot is doing is after this, do this, after this, do this. It's a promise. Okay, so you can chain promises together. That's basically what that is. So we're just chaining promises together. After doing this, then do this. So you first of all get this, so you sort that out. Then the next is we have what we call GT and GTE. Okay, so we have GT and GTE, and we'll look into that. So basically, when we say GT, okay, so when we say GT, GT is greater than, okay, greater than, and the other one is greater than or equal. So just like you know in your math, is so you can choose a specific thing you want it to be. So this is let's say check for greater than or equal. Okay, and so greater than or equal. So let's first of all turn off. Let's turn this off. So let me see what I'm looking for. Let me just have an empty query. Let me just have an empty query that will. Let me just have an empty query that I can turn on and off to see what I'm looking for. Okay, so let me just turn this off and. All right, so anytime I want to check for something, I don't have to like clear out query or that. All right, so to unaffected. All right, so like this now, I can decide to check for things that have, let me see something that has duplicate price. 80 appears here, 350 appears here, but they're the same thing. I'm going to something different products, 80, 80, 40, 50, 80, 80. Okay, so I have two 80s, Apple AirPods and Apple smartwatch. So let me use that. So so here I want to turn this off and turn this on. So basically, what we could do now is we could just say price. So you want to tag along the price now. Okay, and then you want to use let's start with GT. So GT, and then the price is basically a number. So let's just say 80. If we do this, basically what it's going to do is it's going to look for where we have a price that is greater than 80,000. Okay, so if we do this, Apple smartwatch and what else? Apple smartwatch and Apple AirPods are 80,000. So if we do this, I need to sort this out so it's easy for us to see. So let me sort also the price. So let me sort the price so it's easy for us to see um, the changes. So at least now we can see the advantage of having this sort method. So I want to sort the price in ascending order. All right, so let me do this again. Okay, so sorting with price in ascending order, you see now that everything about 80 is gone. Okay, so the next price above 80 is 130 and then 200 like such. All right, so that works. Then if you put the E now, which is equal to, then 80 will become part of it. So let me see if it's okay. So we're good. So if we do this, you see now 80 is part of it. Okay, so 80 and 80 is part of it. So that's the purpose of greater than. So basically, you can see some of the queries that you can do as are available. And by the time we create a user, we should probably create a user in our next class. So by the time we create users in our next class, we would see also how to do queries between collections. So you could have like multiple collections, and we look at the populate method in the next class on how to work with that. So let's continue what we're doing today. So another method we have is less than or equal to, and as the case is, it's pretty much very straightforward if you've used greater than. All right, so if you use greater than, it's pretty much straightforward. Let me put this in the comments and let me do this properly. All right, so like this. All right, so if I do less than or equal to, you already get the idea. Okay, you already get the idea. So let's just do this. So all right, so we have only less than or equal to. So it stops at 80 because it's equal to and like such. So we have some more. And yeah. So apart from you using these methods, there are some other methods that you can have. Like for instance, let's say you want to check if a value, okay, if you want to check a value isn't something, like for example, let's look at the in method. Okay, so we've seen the less than. So uh, let me just write this down. Okay, so you have the in method, and if you're familiar with working with JavaScript, it's somewhat similar. Okay, somewhat similar. So basically, in the in method, what you are trying to do is you're trying to check if something isn't something. Okay, if something isn't something, just give me a second. Okay, so check okay, or how do I coin this now? Okay, so let's say check if a value is one of many. All right, checking the value is one of many. So in this case, let us first of all see all the values that we have. Okay, so let me put this on and off and sort according to prices. Okay. All right. So here, what do we have? We have Oraimo earbuds. We have Oraimo earbuds. We have Apple smartwatch. We have Apple AirPods. Okay, we have that. Okay, so let's say for example, we want to check like if something exists in something. So let me use categories, because categories for now has like simpler to explain example. So let me use category for example. So let's say we have here. Okay, so here now using the category. Now what you want to do is you could check, for example, in category, this might actually like return everything though. This might actually like return everything though. This might actually return everything. I'm thinking of, okay, let's start with accessory. Okay, let's start with accessory. Let's see this works first, and then we do that. So let's say accessories. Did I get the spelling right? Accessories. Let me just copy from here just in case I have a spelling error. Accessories. Okay. All right. So just in case I have a spelling error. Okay. So when you are using when you're using this method now, you want to check if something exists in something. And here in this place, you can have like multiple methods. Okay, so here we currently have accessories and mobile gadgets. And so here we see here that's giving us only the things that have accessories in it. Okay, it's giving us only the things that have accessories in it. And I want to try to see if we will get the same thing if the spelling is incomplete. So I have access in category. So I want to try to see if it's going to give us exactly, it's going to give us that even if it isn't in it. Okay, so let me just try that. So we see the difference that this gives us. Okay, so no, it doesn't give us that. So it's basically doing similar to what we have as equal. But the difference with equal is that equal is going to be very specific to both of them have. So let's put in the other thing we have, which is mobile gadgets. And if this should give us both of them, should give us pretty much everything we have. So let's wait for this to run. All right, so should give us pretty much everything we currently have. Here, so we have accessories and we have mobile gadgets because we have somewhere where the name mobile gadgets exists. So here in this place, you can use this as a way of joining. Okay, so instead of you looking for all items where you have accessories and all items where you have a category mobile gadgets and then joining the two of them together, you are using this as a way of just doing this within one query. Okay, so some other ways someone would have tried that is to have this method. Just give me a second, please. All right, let me get some water. All right, I'm back. Thank you. All right, so like as I was saying, Joe, I said like instead of you having two queries, and joining them together, you can do all of that in one query. So let me just create like one more. What could I call this now? I also want to create like one more item or some new items that have something else. So I'm still thinking of a name. Okay, let me just have a car. So I will just say, I don't even know, Mercedes. Let me say Mercedes. Mercedes what now? I don't even know what. Mercedes G-Wagon. I'll just put G-Wagon. Okay, so just put G-Wagon. And what do I call this? I call it a car. And the what color? Let me call it black. And how much? Let me just add 2 more zeros to make it 35 million. And let me put number in stock to be 2. And yeah, okay, that's a G-Wagon. Then what other car? Let me say Ford or Ford. I don't even know names of cars today. God. Okay, let's just say Lambo. So Lamborghini. Just give me a second on the back here. And let me make this 55 and let me make this blue. Okay, so let me make this blue. And that should be created. And yeah. Okay, so going back to this, here, I have 2 new things here, which are cards, and they won't show up here because we still have our filter setting. So what I'm going to do is, here we have accessories, and accessories are quite many. So I'll just use mobile gadgets and car. Okay, so let's use mobile gadgets and car. So I'm going to remove accessories and replace this with car, and where we have category of car. Okay, so all right. So if I do this filter now, this will give us yeah. So we have mobile gadgets, car. Yeah, Mercedes G-Wagon and Lamborghini. Yeah, and so basically that is a way of us being able to join. Okay, so join for your parameters. Then apart from that, we have another one which is the mean. Okay, so if we have it, we also have the opposite. Okay, so the mean is the opposite, where you can say check if value not in. Okay, so you want to check if the value is not in one of many or such. Okay, so that's what you want to do. So check if value is none of many values. Okay, so let's say none of many values. Okay, so let me just put values here. And let me put values here, many values. All right, so if I was to just put this in here, now the other category we have is accessory. Okay, so the accessory is the other category we have. So automatically, it's going to show you the accessories now, as opposed to that. So running this now, it shows us accessories. All right, so running this now shows us accessories as opposed to the other. All right, then just like 2 more methods, and let's just do like 2 or 3 more methods so that we can be thorough. And we want to look at one method which is saying and. Okay, and it says so what this is going to do is it's going to check, the and method is going to check that 2 specific things are there. Okay, 2 specific things are there. So the conditions have to be true. Okay, the conditions have to be true, and I'm not sure as of now I have a parameter that I have like an object that has all of that parameter there. So I might have to create something that fits into that. Okay, so I might have to create something that fits into that. So what this is going to do is to check that multiple conditions are all true. Okay, so check that multiple conditions are all true. So let's check that multiple conditions are all true. And here we have only one condition. Okay, here we have only one condition here. And so basically, what you will be doing in this case is that you will be having the and as your outer condition, as opposed to what we've been having where the category what is here. Okay, what we will be doing in this style or in this type is we will we'll be having an and. So we're joining like two conditions together, all be met. So here, let me, okay, so let me, okay, my network seems to be unsteady. So let's say we have category should be accessories, and let's use the and method here. So here we have and the and method now is going to take in the conditions that we want. So here, this is going to be one of such conditions that we want to check. And basically, you are going to be having like an array. Okay, so you're going to be having an array of the conditions you want to meet. Right? Okay, so here we have category for accessories, and what other category that I want to use? Let's say price. Okay, let's say price. So let's say price. Now, you can have like some of the other method or some of the other conditions that you already have. Okay, so here we have price. Let's start first of all by saying price is 350. Then let's say we say price. So let's say price is 350,000. If this is right. Okay, so we have here the and saying that this must be an accessory and price must be 350. Do this, this should probably work. So, all right, so this gives us, here we have accessories and we have that the price is 350. So here we are specifically defined that the price should be this. So what if we don't want to say that the price should be that? What if we want to use like the other methods that we have? So we can always, like still inside here, decide to use another, like we saw there. So before we did GT, sorry, we did before we did GTE, and here, sorry, please. Okay, so before, what we did before is we did GTE, and when we did GTE, we specified, for example, what we want. You want the price to be greater than. So let me use something low, okay, because we might not have anything. So let me use 80, for instance. So here we have that it has to be an accessory, and then the price also has to be greater than or equal to 80. So if I do this now, cross my fingers, this should work. All right, so yeah, those. So here we have only accessories, and we have that the price is above 80, okay? And the reason why it's sorting according to price is, remember, we still have this sort here according to price. So that's the reason why it's sorted according to price, just in case you're running yours and it's not giving you what you want. So just take note of that. But sorting is according to price. So this is the AND method, and it will check that all those conditions are fulfilled, okay? So this condition where the category must be an accessory, and the other condition where the category must be a price greater than 80 must be fulfilled. Now, we also have the alternative of this, which is the OR. So just as you have OR, you have the OR method, and this is basically the same thing. And what it's going to do is going to check that one of multiple conditions is true. Okay, so all you just need is just for one of the conditions to be true. So you can understand the method and use the method based on what you wanted to do. So you can like work with freedom. So here in this case, if I use the OR method, it's going to show me prices that are greater than 80,000, or prices, or it's going to show me items that have prices that are greater than 80,000 or that are within accessories category. So if I was to do that, let me use LTE, because if I use this, it's going to show me a lot. So let me use less than or equals to, because I don't want to be seeing the cars for now. Okay, so let's all right. So like this here. So you see, none of them is greater than. Sorry, some of them are actually greater than, but that's based also on our description too. So here we have that there are accessories, 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 accessories. And another condition is the price is also, we have a case where the price is less than 80, okay? And then we also have a case where the price is greater than, but it is still an accessory. So that's why it's showing. So it has to meet at least one of those conditions. So it's either it is an accessory or it has a price that is greater than. So all of that is based on our definition as we define here. So it's just about you understanding what you want to get and knowing what method. Then we have just 3 more, and we'll call it a day. Okay, so we also have 3 more, we'll call it a day. So we have the not. We have the not, and the not is to negate. Okay, so I want to share with you the cheat sheet later. I'll need to just take my time to put it together and share it with you. So once I've done that, probably tomorrow. I had a very busy day, so once I'm done, I'll share it with you. So what this negate does is it filters. Okay, so it's more of like a filter. So it's similar to not equal to okay. So it's similar to not equal to. So how do I want to use this? Okay, I want to use this without stressing myself in creating this. What I'm going to do is I am just going to let me start with a simple method. Okay, so I'm going to start with not equal to something. Okay, so where something is not equal to something, and after that, we will move into that method. So let me just duplicate this and bring this out, and bring this out. All right, so that this can serve as a reference. All right, so let's say we want to check for let's say category. Okay, I want to check for a category where the category is not equal to. Okay, so here where it is not equal to not equal to accessories. Okay. All right. So just simple filter. Okay. So we want to look for this where it is not equal to. Now this here is currently not having any stuff here. So let me just put equal to here. Okay, it's not having any filter here. So let me just put equal to here. All right. So this filter here, let me start first of all by removing this. Okay, so let me show you what the filter does. What this filter does first of all before the next. Okay, so I just want to comment out this, and I want to comment out something. Let me just remove the nuts. Okay, let me just remove the nut here. Here, this here will give us, okay, this here will give us, okay, this here is like our category filter where it is equal to accessories, where category is equal to accessories. Okay, so this is going to give us this. So we have only things with accessories, okay? Only things with accessories. That's what we're currently receiving. The only things with accessories. So now we want to include the nuts, and here I'm just going to add nuts, okay? So, and let me close this. All right. Right, so this is going to return the opposite of this, which is showing me categories where you have cars and other things aside the accessories. Okay, so here, as we see here, so basically it's just returning the opposite. Okay, so mobile gadgets and cars, that's what we receive here. So that's not. And then the last two, we have exist and we have express. So here, you might want to track a field. Now, the challenge here in trying to represent this is that we use the schema, okay? We use a schema, and based on the schema, it forces us to work within a certain, the way we design our schema, it forces us to work within a certain constraints in terms of parameters, okay? So I'm just going to explain this to you with the method that works, and then later on we will look at when we are like modifying our schema, we will look at how we can allow other things aside what we already have in our schema. So you don't have to work with only the things that are available in a schema. You can also allow things that are not defined in a schema. So that's what I'm trying to say in essence. So this exist method checks if a field, okay, checks if a field exists. So here we have fields for name, description, category, price, number, and stock. So currently we have all our elements have all the same fields in them. Okay, so you might not be able to see an item that will not have a field in them. Okay, so what we'll be doing here in this case is that we have like an exist and it's a Boolean. So here you want to check if the field category exists. Okay, so you're just checking if there is such a field called category. So exists, and you pass it to true. So if it is true, if exist is true, as you can see, it's a Boolean. If exist is true, then yes, return everything. So this will basically return everything because exists, the category exists across all items. But let's say, for example, we want to check if a field, okay, maybe we have some additional parameter that is not currently available, like dates. Okay, so date doesn't exist. So it's going to return us this our error because we don't have a field called dates. So if I do this here, what is going on wrong? Something is wrong. I need to check. I need to check. I need to check if I'm doing something wrong. Okay. Do we have dates? Oh yeah. We have dates. Don't mind me. Look at me. We have dates. Okay. Okay. So let's just call it time. Okay, let's just call it time. Because right now I'm short on ideas of what to call. We have dates. Let's call it time. Okay. So time doesn't exist among this fields. Okay. These are the things we are tracking with this method. Okay. So time doesn't exist. All right. So yeah, let's do this. Wow. I wonder what's happening. Let me check again what's happening. Query time exists. Query yes exists is true. Time. What else can I use? What else can I use? What else can I use? Let me say machinery. Let me just call it big word. Okay, so the query where machinery is true. This is fine, answer by price. Okay. All right. So let's try that. If it doesn't work out, then I'll check what's wrong. What is wrong? What is wrong? She didn't even show me anything. She didn't even show me anything. She didn't even show me anything. It shouldn't show me anything. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Shouldn't show me anything, but yeah. So one last method, and after this, that should be enough for today. So the last one we want to check. I'll check what's wrong with this. I'll check what's wrong with this, and I'll get back to us in our next class. So the last one we want to check is the XPR, or the EXPR. And what this one does is it does a comparison. Okay, so it does a comparison between different fields. An example, okay. Okay, so all right. All right, now, let's say, for example, okay, let's say, for example, you have like, how do I put this now? I have to modify, okay? I have to modify because right now we don't have something to do comparison with looking at the data we have here. We don't have something to do comparison with looking at the data here. So let's say, okay, we have price. Price is this 50,000. I just have to slightly modify this to that comparison that we want to look at. So we have price, and let's say these items are not currently like the same. Let's say these items have gone through some time, and let's say the value has depreciated. Okay, so let me slightly modify the model for a new item. Okay, you don't want to modify an existing model that is already existing. So, but this is just demo. Okay, so let's say we have this as should we say price? What do we call this? Selling price. Should we say, let's say price at what now? Price at manufacture. This term is becoming big. Price. Okay, so I'll say initial price, and I will then say current value. So so I just want to say, I just want to use this to say something has depreciated in value over time. So I want to do that with a Lambo. So let me do that with let's do that with the caveats. Okay. So initial price. I'm creating that in the database right now. Initial price, and let's say current value. Let's say current value. So let's say current value has depreciated, and current value is now 3 million. So I'm trying to create like a new information, and so that's my schema is preventing me. So I don't want to change much here. I'm going to have to change this back to normal. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. Okay, so that I can go ahead with the creation process. All right, so I'm creating a Lambo that has dropped in value. and I'm going to create a Ferrari, okay, a Ferrari that has also dropped in value. So 4.5. I'm going to create a Ferrari that has also dropped in value. And I'm going to create a Maserati. Okay, Maserati. Forgive me if my spelling is awfully wrong. But I'm going to create a Maserati that has increased in value. Okay, so, all right. And I want to create a Porsche that has also increased in value. So Porsche should be red and on fire. All right. All right, so I've done that, and let me show you what I've done. So I'm going to do that. So you should be at the bottom if things are not sorted out. Let me remove the sorting by price, so at least you see it at the bottom. So just push this down and comment it out. All right, so all right, so I have 4 new items created: initial price, current value, initial price, current value, initial price, current value, initial price, current value. And for 2 of them, they've increased in value, and 2 of them have reduced in value. So all of this is just so I can use this to demonstrate to you what we have as an example. Okay, so I wanted to demonstrate this aspect here. Do a comparison between between different fields. So we want to do a comparison between different fields. So still yet, I'm going to put this one here and do a check on this as why this didn't work. Why it didn't work. So I'm going to do a check on that. All right. So here we want to do a comparison, and what we want to check now is we want to check if, for example, here we have like, let's say we have two values, okay, that we want to put into consideration, and these 2 values, we want to check if you have that they are greater than, and then what you want to compare, okay, what you want to compare in that aspect, okay. So in this case here, you want to check the particular fields, okay. So you're using the fields as a yardstick, okay. You're using the fields as a yardstick, and you want to check between the fields which one, like where maybe, for example, one is greater than the other. So here, this one is greater than this. So you can think of this as, okay. So you can think of this as, I don't need this here. Sorry about that. I don't need this here. I don't need this here. And I don't need this here either. All right. All right. Now, where was I? All right. So you can think of this as a comment now. You can think of this as A being greater than B. Okay. So you can think of this as A being greater than B in this regard. Okay. So here, as you will see, oh, they didn't give us. I thought they were going to give us like some explanation. Okay, so you can think of it this way, and you want to do this comparison where one is greater than the other. So once you've done that, then you can then put in what you want to list here as the value. So let me pick the value here. So I have where the current value. So I want the current value to be greater than the initial value, and we're using a dollar sign before it, where the current value is greater than the initial price. Okay, so thank God I was copying that other written initial value. All right, so it's greater than the initial price. So this is what you want in a query, and let's run this and hope this should work too. All right, so here now, it's showing me only the Maserati and the Porsche, because the initial price is 250, but now it's increased in value to 40. Is it 25 million actually? Not 50. So it's increased in value in these ones. And here, if I use LT, it will show me the other two that the value reduced. Okay, so where this is less than, that would be the LT. Okay, so where this is less than, that would be the LT. So there are many different ways. I think it's taking time for this to show. Okay, it's available on localhost now. All right, so let me run this again. It's running. So why is this taking me so long? Escape. All right, run this again. All right, so here it's showing me, the ones that have depreciated in price. Okay, so it's showing me the ones that have depreciated in price. So this is the end of what we'll be looking at today. This is the end of what we'll be looking at today in regards to queries. So we've seen how we could do sorting. We've seen how we could also filter. As we saw in our last two classes, we're able to filter using the ID parameter. Okay, so finding, and then we've also been filtering all this while using the query parameter. So today we looked at some conditions we can add into it, so we can do comparisons. So it's not only one comparison, you can actually do multiple comparisons between different fields. You can check for equality, check for not equal to, you can check for greater than, less than, and all such. So all these are things that you can do. Okay, so these are things that you can do using these different methods. So the purpose of this is so that you don't feel limited. Okay, so you don't feel limited in scope by wanting to work with, for example, wanting to work with MongoDB. These are some functionalities that people would want in SQL, and in SQL, it looks very much easy for you to do this in SQL. And as shown you today, it's also still pretty much easy for you to do this also in MongoDB. So whether you're working on a fintech application, because by the time you start working with TypeScript, maybe for fintech application purposes, you might find this as some necessary queries that you want to do. So this is to make you more of a thoroughbred developer. So at this point, I'll call it a day and I'll be taking questions. So if there are any questions, I would like to have questions. If you have questions, you can put up your hand and I'll call you so you can ask your question. Okay, I have one. Any other question? Okay, Mandy, go on with your question, please.
Okay, yeah, great class. Okay, so
Yeah,
my
thank you very
question,
much.
yeah, now when you actually store an item in database, okay, with a particular case, style of case, whether it is capital letter or sentence case, how do you search case insensitive in MongoDB?
Okay,
Like,
okay, like
yeah, when your query parameters are in mixed cases, but you have you have a different format of casing in your database. How do you search casing sensitive? Because it's not all times that probably the user might go through the API with an exact style of casing.
okay.
Yeah.
The thing is MongoDB has its own like it has its own way in which it does its own case insensitive parameters. Okay, it has its own way. So let me just check that out. Let me just check that out because I haven't. Most times I usually just go straight into looking for what I'm looking for here, and well, there is a way it's indexed. So let me check that out. Okay, let me check that out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I have that right now at the top of my head, but let me check that out. Okay, so let me check that out and see if it's something you can easily check out. All right, all right. But this is always all this is. This are like stuff you can always what's the word now? Things you can always um check out on Google. Okay, yeah, there are things you can always check out on Google, like case sensitive, case insensitive. So long as they exist, yes, you should be able to find that. But let me check that. Normally, it's something called regular expression, like regex. You use regular expression to reduce to like define a query parameter that you want to look for in MongoDB. Or let me see. In case any other person, in case someone out here like has the answer to that question, you could as well drop it in the chat section. So we're open to receiving answers to that.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So the way MongoDB does indexing, right? If you're trying to query the database and then to return, say, a document now, and then let's say you're using a field like maybe you have like a name in the schema and then you're using that name field. Now, MongoDB will try to use an exact match with your search. So say your name is say like John, and then say it is it's with missed case now. So maybe some of them are capital and then the rest are small, and then you're trying to do with, let's say, an all lowercase input. So that will return. It will not return that document with that missed case. But then there's a way you can escape characters with regular expressions. So using that regular expressions, you can be able to, try to, you can be able to, match, return that search without having to look at the case sensitivity. So what MongoDB now does is that, let's say you're trying to, so if you're implementing searching, all right, let's circle back to searching. So if you're implementing searching, like say you have a database of products now, and then you're trying to query for products. Now, if you don't provide that the full name of that product, it will not return, like I said before. But then with regular expressions, you could implement it in such a way that even if it's just one letter that is within that name, within that name field, it will return that document. So let's say you have a group of product documents now, and then say iPhones, and then there are various type of iPhones there. If you implement it with that regular expression, you could use a letter like P, and P will just return or every document that matches that letter, irrespective of the case sensitivity. And it doesn't have to also start at the beginning. So the P could be within the middle of the name. It could be at the ending of the name, but as long as it includes that letter, it will return the documents that includes that letter. It's more like that the JavaScript method, like the dot starts with, the array method that starts with. There's a method called starts with. There's a method called include. So it behaves the same way. So with include, you're saying as long as this input, the data has the value I'm imputing here, so it should return. So that's how it works. So to answer your question, Mendy, that can be done with regular expressions. So even if the user types a space within the name, so let's say you're trying to search for phone, and then you type PH and then a space before the ONE, it will just ignore that space and then return that document. I don't know if you guys understood me what I said.
Yeah, I get you perfectly. Because I was trying to implement it in the very last task that we're giving, but I think I was finding difficulties, so I needed some clarification. So thank you very much. That was very much explanatory for me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Prosper, for that. So, so just like you heard, using like regular expressions, like you said, can help you to escape that. So normally there is like there's just like a clean copy of defining those states. So what we do probably in the next class, I will just look into some of those methods. If there are any of such query methods or stuff you want to check off, you can easily check them online. Also, there are like numerous like guidelines that could show you how to implement that. And one method that is usually good, generally is to even like in the schema or in the setup define like you can predefine if you want it to be case sensitive or not. But we didn't look at that. We didn't look at that because I felt like that was more of like let's say an advanced concept for a start. Okay, so I felt that was more of an advanced concept for a start, but we'll look into that much later. So in our next class, we'll be looking at defining like having another collection in one, populating and doing that, and other queries related to that. Muyo, you had your hands raised up. You can also ask a question, Muyo.
Yeah,
or is it the same question?
Yeah, it's not the same question. Good evening.
Okay, please go on with your question.
You have achieved a great class. So what I wanted to ask, is there a way we could get the database, like the documents in the database? Is there a way you can pass it across to us so we could use it just to practice or something?
Oh, you mean like documents I have in the database? If I could pass it across. Generally, what I'll just do is I'll just push this code. So you can create. I'll just push this code to the Google Drive by tomorrow. So you can create your own documents. You could create them because I won't be passing across to you my own database, which I probably should read tonight, since I've shared it on YouTube. So I don't want people going and playing around my connections. So like I said, it would be cool if you would take that and use that to build your own database, your own setup of what you want. And with that, you can then say, okay, yes, this is what you're looking for, or that. So yeah, sure. So what I'll just do by tomorrow, expect that by tomorrow, I should push all we've done today to the drive, the Google Drive. Then from there, you can pick it and then do your connection strings, then populate your database with things you can use in testing. Then, yeah, I should also put up the assignment. Probably by Thursday, I should also put up the assignments for you. So you'll be able to see that too. Things you can practice with and do with that. I'll take one more question. Is there any more question from anyone? Any more question? Any more questions from anyone? All right. So I believe we've come to the end of today's class. It's been really an exciting time with you guys over the past weeks, and I feel excited every time to come. I feel excited every time to come to the class to see you guys. I admire your, your preparation, your seriousness, and we look for that. Okay, so I would like to hand over the class to Prosper to wrap up the class. And if there's anything, you can also So yeah, so if there's anything, you could also add it in the closing remark. So thank you very much, everyone. This is my good night, and let's have our mentor take over.
Yeah, guys. Yeah. Ben, thanks for the class. Yeah, as usual, great class. Yeah, guys. So I don't know. We are showing our expertise in the tax and all of that. Why that's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing. But then, like I earlier pointed out, um, the tax are not to gauge our overall understanding. So that's why we're giving them periodically. So we're trying to gauge our understanding per module that we cover from time to time. So yeah, the last tax, yeah, we said we should do things with product, and people were already implementing authentication and stuff. Yeah, but then so please, we should just try and keep to keep our tax exactly as the instructions go. So yeah, we shouldn't do what we're not told to do, right? So please, guys, yeah, let's keep to that. Let's keep to that rule, just so that we can maximize our time together. Yeah. So I believe everybody is following our lectures closely, and Ben have been trying as much as possible to make everything clear, as explanatory as possible. Yeah. So I believe everybody's also doing their own study, doing their own reading and all of that. Yeah, so from time to time, if you have issues, you could reach out. Yeah, like we've always said. Yeah, Mandy, you said you were trying to implement that regex thing. Yeah, so I'll send you a code snippet. Yeah, if I forget, remind me. I'll send you a code snippet where that's implemented. Right. So yeah, so that's basically it for me. Good night, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll come your way on Friday again. Bye, guys. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll send it on the channel. We'll do that. Yeah, so I guess that's it. So everybody could leave now.